Welcome everyone, this is Master's Joke, also Master's Joke 75 on Instagram, here for another action figure Star Wars review. So this is the Mandalorian Super Commando Captain, and if you remember, my last action figure review was the Mandalorian Death Watch Airborne Trooper. So this Commando Captain, this was included in my Christmas Eve purchase from Star Action Figures, and I believe, I mean, this was Christmas Eve, so this was going back in this is like December the 24th, and this was I believe it was $5.95 when I purchased it. Didn't buy it at the time. I wasn't that impressed. I mean, as I've mentioned before, I haven't really watched. I've watched some of the Clone Wars, but I haven't watched much of it. Didn't really do it for me. Love the Bad Batch. Love Star Wars Rebels. I wasn't really sure about this figure with the Darth Maul horns on it. As I say, I don't know much about the figure. I must go back and rewatch the Clone Wars properly, because it's, it's a good series. I've heard good things about it. Just, maybe I just started watching it at the wrong time. Maybe I was just too busy. I think you do need to concentrate when you when you watch something new. So I will go back to it. I will go back to it. But yeah, $5.95. I didn't buy it at the time when it was first released, similar to the Mandalorian Death Watch Airborne Trooper. But at those stupid prices, it was a no-brainer. So I actually bought two of these, one to open and one to display. One of the things I noticed about this figure, and also the one that I'm keeping on card, is that, and Star Action Figures, they did mention this, but there's a slight little bit of indentation, or would you call it damage? I mean, you wouldn't even notice unless you were looking, but it's just here. You might not be able to see it on camera. But this is nothing to do with Star Action Figures. This is Hasbro, who tried forcing too many action figures into the box, because this is the new extra fit card that the fans cried out for. But Hasbro Pulse, or Hasbro, although they increased the thickness of the card, they didn't think that they needed to increase the size of the actual boxes that they came in, which has then caused slight damage to some of the action figures. And Star Action Figures, they did a video about this. It's on YouTube, so it's definitely worth checking it out if you're interested in how poor the quality of Hasbro actually is. I mean, I mean, sometimes I'm just shocked by Hasbro, just how they get things so wrong. But anyway, back to the Mandalorian Super Commando Captain. So yeah, I went through these in the last video. For this particular wave, but this is a VC246, and if you did watch the last video, I'm so impressed with the Death Watch Airborne Trooper. This one doesn't look as good, in my opinion, but each to their own. So let's have a little close look at the figure in the packet. It looks decent enough. I'm not sure about the horns. I love the thickness of the new card backs. The image they've used, it's obviously superimposed. It's not a great image that they've used for the card back, if I'm honest. But yeah, let's get this open like it's Christmas 1984, old school. Right, so let's have a quick look at this. So it looks like it's got exactly the same guns as the Death Watch Airborne Trooper. I'm pretty certain they're exactly the same guns. That looks decent enough. So let's get him out of the packet. Well, it looks decent enough. I mean, it's not a metallic red. So yeah, I mean, it's different than the Death Watch Airborne Trooper, but yeah, it looks alright. it's got some battle damage to his armour, which I like. These horns, which I'm not sure about, they're quite thick on there, so that's a nice touch. They're not flimsy or anything like the weapons that you usually get. He's got the standard jetpack. I think it's exactly the same sculpt actually as the Airborne Trooper and the standard Mandalorian. Yeah, I'm pretty certain. It'd be interesting to compare that. But yeah, it looks decent enough. Yeah, so the articulation is just the same for flying around. But I like it. It looks pretty decent. Let's have a look at the weapons, because I'm pretty certain they're exactly the same as the Airborne Trooper. So let's just get them. Yeah, so I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, I've got it. I think I've got it in focus. Yeah, so these guns, these go in the holster. That's exactly the same as the Death Watch Airborne Trooper. Exactly the same. So I'm wondering whether I'll have the same trouble only with one of the holsters, which was on the right hand side, to see if it actually fits in there. And then let me just get the other gun. So his blaster, yeah, blaster's exactly the same as the Airborne Trooper. So let's set them up. Let's set them up, and it'd be interesting to compare him to the Airborne Trooper. So let's just do that now. What can I say? This Super Commando Captain, it's absolutely fantastic. £5.99 from Star Action Figures. It's a no-brainer. You know, obviously I bought this Christmas Eve as part of my my Star Action Figures order, with loads of other stuff. But £5.99, how can you sell a Star Wars figure, Mandalorian, for £5.99? Let your eyes be your guide. Highly recommended. Order this figure while they're still in stock. It's brilliant. I'd also advise you or recommend that you buy the Mandalorian Death Watch Airborne Trooper, which I believe is £10.99 at Star Action Figures as well. I got it cheaper because I was in the right place at the right time, and that's a lot about collecting Star Wars figures. It's about being in the right place at the right time. And as for the, I mean, I mentioned I bought two of each. You know, one to open and one to display. I mean, technically that is damage that was on the card, but the damage is so minimal. I mean, you wouldn't even notice. I mean, there's more damage. I mean, if you went to, I don't know, just say you bought a Star Wars action figure from Lame, or The Entertainer, or Smith's Toys, or Forbidden Planet from the store, the damage that or the minimal damage that you'd get from it hanging on the pegs is more than you'd get from Star Action Figures. I mean, and as I mentioned, it's not their fault anyway. Definitely pick up this figure. Out of interest, the holsters very tight but perfect. Those guns aren't going anywhere from the holsters, unlike the Airborne Trooper. But let me just get him, just so I can compare the two of them. So there is my Airborne one. So I'm going to try and move him over without him falling. There's my Airborne. So yeah, it's exactly the same sculpt, same guns, same everything. I like the Mandalorian Death Watch Airborne Trooper more because I like the paint applications. Like that orange on his helmet, and also the metallic blue and the battle damage. I prefer it. I think it looks better. But this Super Commando Captain, I had to look at the card because I can't remember what he's called. It's a decent figure. I'm sure he. Look, I think. Do you know what? I'm gonna have to look into it because I'm sure it has got something to do with Darth Maul, because obviously Darth Maul was on Mandalore during the Clone Wars. Do you know what? I think I've heard rumours that Darth Maul is in the new Ahsoka series. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research on this figure because I am pleasantly surprised on how good he actually is. But yeah, highly recommended. Well happy. So glad I picked these two up, and it's another addition to go in my Navarro Cantina, which is getting bigger and bigger. I think 2 sets is enough though. But anyway, that's the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It lets me know you care, and also it helps the channel. And also, things haven't changed. I haven't mentioned it for a while, but if I get to 1,000 subscribers, my wife says I can give up my job. Because she obviously thinks I haven't got a chance of getting to 1,000 subscribers. But, you know, hopefully I'll be able to surprise her. But, yeah, I'll catch you in the next one.